Good morning to you. Monday here, 7:16 on the 17th of April. I'm Jeff Slakey. Hope you're having a good start to the day. Had a great weekend. My gosh, 69 degrees yesterday in downtown Shelton, and expect a little bit of rain today, maybe some thunderstorms tomorrow. Got two great guests on the air with me this morning from PUD number 3. Let's say good morning to Joel Myer and Justin Holzgrove. Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing great. Yesterday was wonderful. I had to go get gasoline for my lawnmower. I figured I had.
Wait, so that is wonderful because now you're going to get out there?
That's right. I got out there and got my sunburn on my neck. I'm all set.
You're ready to go.
It's a beautiful weekend.
It was a beautiful weekend. You were doing some baseball stuff at MCRA, right?
That's right. MCRA had opening day for baseball on Saturday, and it was wonderful. I had 6 hours of games with my kids, and that was fantastic. But here we are. It's baseball season.
It is baseball season. All right, let's talk PUD 3. Let's talk what you guys are doing around the community. I know that the PUD works closely, again, with iFiber, with some of the fiber optic stuff. And some of the stuff that we're hearing is that Mason County is growing. It's booming. What can we say about some of this?
Well, I'm going to give you some stats because before coming on the air, you were talking about some archaeological stuff you've been doing here at the radio station during remodeling, and you found old news stories and wire copy and stuff that had slipped behind a desk. I worked here 1980 to 91. I'm surprised that stuff didn't catch on fire, for goodness sakes. But back in 1980, when I came here, there were 32,000 people living in Mason County.
Wow.
The last census is 62,000 residents in Mason County. For PUD 3, from 2000 to 2017, we've seen over 77,000 new connections just in that time period. So not only do you have a growth of population, but you have a growth of energy loads, not just from homeowners and people who are taking residence here, but also economic development and industrial growth. So that combined makes us have to look way out into the future on how to deal with those things.
How is it then, since 2000 or since even here when you were here in 80, the amount of energy used per person goes because if you sit here, you look in my room, I've got 3 computers, cell phones, this, that, the other. There's a big load per person now, I think, as we increase technology wise. Is that right, Justin?
Yeah, that's right. So culturally, we're using more energy, but at the same time, technology has helped us to use it more efficiently.
Okay.
And so it's not growing at as steep of a rate as it was before. Kind of this energy efficiency revolution, you could say, has happened. So while the slope is going up, it's going up at a more gradual slope.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So interesting. So what are you guys going to do about this? I know on the website, PUD3.org, you've got a video that you've got going on there on how you are thinking about addressing this, and it's with the addition of substations, right?
Correct.
What is that? What does a substation mean if someone hasn't seen the video, but they may drive by one on the way into town?
Yeah, so we get our electricity completely from the Bonneville Power Administration, and they deliver it at high voltage to us. They increase the voltage so that they can send it a long ways. This electricity mostly comes from the dams on the Columbia River, which the Columbia River doesn't flow through Mason County.
No.
And so we get our electricity distributed, transmitted to us on those high voltage power lines. A lot of it comes in to the BPA substation in Shelton near McDonald's. We get some before and after it, but some of it comes from there. And then a substation, what it does is it steps that voltage down. It lowers the voltage to what we would call distribution voltage, from 115,000 volts to 12,470 volts. And that's what our linemen work with mostly on the distribution system, and that's what you see in the wires that are common around Mason County. And then from there, when we can't plug that into our house because our house uses 120 or 240 volts, as you probably know. And so it has to go through another transformer. That's the cylinder-looking thing on the pole, or sometimes you have a green box if you have underground power. And that steps it down to make it available in our house. And so a substation is really just a very large transformer. We see them all around the county. Every service has one, but a substation is just a larger one for an area.
So if I remember what I saw in that video, you guys were one every 10 years, and this is a potential 4 to 5 in the next 3 years.
Next 10 years.
Next 10 years. So yes. that is quite the step up.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, as you take a look around the county, we have pressures in the South County around Taylortown. The Skookum substation there serves that area and a portion of Shelton, as a matter of fact. And so as that substation starts to get what we call at capacity, we try to keep them about 60% capacity holding electricity. And the reason I want to say that is that all of our substations, we have 11 of them, and 10 of them have the opportunity to switch electricity to other parts of the county. If there's an outage, we can reroute electricity from a substation. If a substation is being taken down for maintenance, we can take all the people that have been on that substation, put them on other substations, and keep their electricity in place. Or if we start seeing growth, we can pick up some of that, but to a point. In the south area, there's some industrial growth that's going to mean that the substation there will be actually over capacity, and we need to be able to have another substation there. There's also some other opportunities for economic growth in that area that will mean that the new substation will get other growth on it. North Mason County has just been booming.
Yeah.
If you can drive through there during the morning and the evening, you notice there's a lot of commercial development there. There's a great deal of residential development that's occurring there as well, and we're expecting that to grow as the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard starts expanding its growth there, and so there's the need that will occur there. We all talk about the Shelton Hills development. When and if that comes to Mason County, that's going to require its own substation. There is some industrial growth that could occur depending on what zoning decisions are made in the Shelton urban growth area that may require another substation.
Wow.
So all these things coming together are really important, and what we need to do as the public utility that serve our customers are to make sure that the system is reliable and redundant and able to handle those needs. And we're looking forward. We don't want to be caught where we might be in a situation where we tell people we can't connect because we don't have capacity.
Yeah, wow.
We need to be able to build that through, and that's why we came up with some solutions that I think will deal with that, and Justin can speak better to that.
Yeah, what do you got, Justin?
Well, we have, I think Joel mentioned we came up with some options, and I think that there are 4 options that we're looking at. The first option is to tell people, sorry, you can't connect. And
Right.
of course, that's not an option.
That's not an option.
Yeah, of course not.
So now we're down to 3.
That's right. Okay, sweet. Now we're down to 3. We're going to get this figured out right
We
here,
will.
Jeff.
Yeah,
This is gonna
right.
be
We'll
great.
do this.
Yeah. The second option would be that the last person who connects buys a new substation.
Ah.
Last person in. And we're going to call that not an option.
That's
number
not an
2.
option
Yeah, all right.
either.
So now we're down to 2 options.
we're getting there.
And this is what we're looking at here. And so what we could do is we could say that all customers, all Mason County PUD3 customers, pays for all new substations needed, whether you're connecting to it or not, whether you have adequate service or not. And that's about a 2 to 3% rate increase for all customers.
Wow.
Only for these substations, not including any increases that would come from a wholesale power cost being more expensive. And that's a really, really tough ask for our customers that are full-time customers, maybe even our lower income customers.
Sure.
And that just doesn't seem to be the right answer as well. And so what the staff is proposing is what we call a system capacity fee. And that system capacity fee basically takes all of the available amperage available in a substation, all the electricity available in a substation, and puts a cost on that capacity and shares it out evenly amongst however much you would need, however much voltage you would use. And that has a fee for new customers that would be connecting. It doesn't impact existing customers, which I think is an important aspect to this.
Yeah.
And so if a large industrial plant came in, they would pay for what the electricity is that they would be having out of that substation from there. And if they don't come, they don't pay, and we don't build. And so it's kind of this really nice structure that evenly and fairly distributes the cost to the people that will be needing that load.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about a lot of things here. We are running short on time, but quickly, it is construction season, as you've been mentioning, and people are out and about, and it is important to remember that folks got to call before they dig, right?
Yep.
811.
811, that's exactly right. Call before you dig. Very important, whether you're building a house or putting in a new fence. And I think that does lead us into a couple of things that PUD3 does that we have been doing that actually helps and promotes, I think, construction growth here. If we have a few minutes, I'd like to talk about those. So we have a low application fee It's $100 to build a new house. Pretty low, and that application fee gets credited to whatever kind of line extension costs you have. So really, really nice there, and it's been like that for years and years and years here at PUD3. We also have our customers own their own underground secondary wire. So follow me. So the wires that go from the transformer to the house that takes that lower voltage, as we talked about earlier, the customer owns their own, and they install their own secondary wire. And that makes it actually more affordable to build a house here in Mason County. So you're not paying the PUD's prevailing wages to have a lineman come out and install something underground, digging a trench and putting in wires. But instead, you can have whoever's doing your foundation work or your grading, they can dig the trench, so that's jobs for local contractors. You can hire your house electrician to put in that wire, and so that's jobs for local contractors as well, and probably more affordable than, like I said, the prevailing wage that they would have to pay as a public utility. So that also brings the cost of construction here in Mason County down because of those practices as well.
Wow, interesting.
We'll get back to your call before you dig question, though, and that's very important in terms of cost. But all utilities in Washington State, phone companies, gas companies, electrical utilities, pay into a fund for the call before you dig program. It's free. You call 811 before you're digging, 2 days before you dig. And that's the law. And they'll come out if you call them, and they'll go around your property where you're going to be doing your work. They'll mark what utilities are there, so you can stay away from that. And it's a great service, because you don't want to be out there with a shovel digging into a high-powered electrical line or a gas line when you're out there. Not good in any case. But the other thing is if you're out there digging and you dig into a power line that affects your community, not only will you pay for us to come and fix that, but you could be charged treble for doing that because of the impact that you caused. That's not good for you or your insurance company. So a little call can save you a lot of headache and a lot of money.
All right, let's get you guys on in the next month or so to talk a little bit more about ways that people can be more energy efficient as we move into the summer. Does that sound good?
Great, yes.
All right, Justin Holzgrove, Joe Myer here from the PUD.